play and we ride on them things like it's time for the crushing interview.
We're going to this crushing interview brought to you by Orasi Software. The Orasi team is committed to providing full lifecycle support for developing, testing, and delivering market-driven products. Orasi's models when the customer engages one of us, they engage all of us. Go to orasi.com. That's ORASI.com for more information. Maceo, please introduce our guest, sir.
CBS 46 reporter, the pride of Tacoma, Washington.
That's right.
And also a Georgia State grad. Aiyana Cristal, to the microphone.
Hello, hello, hello.
What's happening?
What's going on?
What's good?
So that's the first question. How do you go from Tacoma to Georgia State? That's a trek right there. How do you get to Georgia State?
I know, my mom was like, you couldn't get any further away from me, could you? Well, so it's a funny story. I had a full ride to go anywhere I wanted to, and no one in my family went to college, so I had no resources in terms of what should I be looking for when I apply for colleges. So at the time, Georgia State was the most diverse school in the nation, and my mom was like, no, forget that. You need to go to, she wanted me to go to Pepperdine. And so we went through the college tour. We went to Pepperdine, USC, UCLA. And I was like, nope, I want to go to Georgia State. And so I went to Georgia State. Biggest regret of my life, but there. I have one regret, and that was going to Georgia State.
But it seemed to kind of work out for you.
It did, you know.
Well, yeah,
the outcome was good, but...
Well, let's talk about this. It seems to be a therapeutic moment here.
Maybe I need it. Possibly.
Let's get on the sofa. What made it such a bad experience?
Because I could go to any college in the United States, and I chose Georgia State. Like, they didn't even have a good journalism program. It was horrible. It was all book work. I could have graduated and knew nothing about TV or radio.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was bad.
Wow. I know who alumni dues aren't coming next month, but okay. Okay.
Man.
Wow.
So you graduated in 2005.
I did.
Barely, or was it? No, just messing with you.
No, with flying colors.
Flying colors. So you got out in 2005, and what's the first thing that you did when you got out?
So I graduated, and then I started working at Fox Sports South as a production assistant, running ticker, camera, doing everything behind the scenes. But I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera, so they were like, you're not going to get your first job in Atlanta, so you need to go somewhere, get experience. So then I went to Champaign, Illinois to get my first job in TV.
Champaign, Illinois. The Fighting Illini. The Chicago Bulls. What was it outside of everybody always talks about the food? What was it about Chicago that was, I can cut my teeth here?
Well, it just has so much energy. Like, it's a great city. It's a fun city, but it's a tough place to live because that winter is brutal.
I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, you just got a lot going on up there. Chi-Town, then you hit Miami, L.A. So you went around the country a little bit.
Yeah, I've been around.
Did you ever think about going back home and doing anything up there?
Nope. Well, actually, I won't say no. I was interviewing for a position in Seattle, but similar to Atlanta, their local TV doesn't really put a lot of energy and resources into sports. So they only did sports a couple nights a week, and I was like, it's not worth it.
Even with the Seahawks?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
With the Mariners, Seahawks.
Wow.
Was the Supersonic.
And the crazy part about it, I mean, the college football scene is pretty good.
Yeah, but you still look in Atlanta, like they don't give resources or time to sports here. So it's just kind of the nature of the industry right now.
Interesting.
It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Crazy.
Wow.
That's crazy. So with the sports scene, I mean, why sports? What was it about it that attracted you to sports? Because you seem like a lot of your career leading up to where you're at now was all in the sports background. What was it about sports that made you want to dive into that arena?
So I always played sports growing up. Started at a very young age. My mom was very instilled you need to be out there, be active. So did sports, and then I remember at a young age doing the play-by-play for my brother when at his baseball games.
Right.
I'd record him so he could go home and watch how he did that day. And I just remember just loving that, and then just tying in, oh, I love sports, and it's kind of fun, the TV aspect of it, and so I got into it.
I like what you were saying earlier, 'cause I want my daughter to get into this medium. And I'm always telling her, gotta understand the behind the scene work first before you transition to the other side of the camera. How instrumental has that been to what you're doing today?
Oh, it's huge because, again, I started out behind the scenes, everything, learning all avenues of it, and then also being in front of the camera. You can't just do one thing anymore. You have to do it all. They have one-man bands where you have to shoot, edit, and report. So you have to learn it. I mean, it's 2018. Like, you can't just do one job anymore. You have to do everything.
Multifaceted out here in these streets.
You got to do it all.
So getting into the sports world, there's some. I saw your boy Joe Kim used to joke with you a lot up there in the Chicago
He
days. So just being around characters and things like that. Do you miss that about being in the sports world?
Oh, absolutely. I was in Miami when the Big Three were there and their championship run, and so it was really a lot of fun covering them during that time. And in Chicago, when Derrick Rose was there and Joakim Noah, like, it was fun. Like, just that energy and those personalities, it makes your job fun.
How excited was the city of Chicago knowing that, like, the native son, Derrick Rose, was coming back home? Did that kind of, was everybody like, oh, finally, we got somebody outside of Jordan now, we can worship somebody else?
Oh, they loved him, but they were quick to turn their back on him. I mean, he didn't really do much for the Bulls or the city.
He gave him MVP.
I mean, yeah, but then what happened after that? He couldn't stay healthy. He kept on getting injured. So it's
His
like,
knees was giving up on
he
him.
just, yeah.
Hey, everybody take a break. We just get started with Aiyana. But we got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about the A, making the transition from being sports to now news. And we're going to see how that works for her. So y'all sit back, relax, man. We got a lot more to go. It's The Crush.
One in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Deliberate dumbing down. Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this? Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumb down.
You know you're listening to the dopest show on the airwaves, right?
You're my boy!
It's The Crush.
SSNATL.com.
Thank you, sir.
We're back, man. We're not crushing interview, our Orasi software crushing interview with Aiyana Cristal from CBS 46. And so before we left, we were talking about you doing in the sports world and dealing with that. But so you come with the intention always to try to get back to Atlanta, or it was just that's the way the things went for you?
I've always loved Atlanta. Like, I've always thought Atlanta was a great city, but it was a time in my career where I knew Chicago wasn't home for me, and Atlanta was, because this is where my mom is, and she's chronically ill, so I knew it was the time for me to come back to be with her.
I want to cover this Miami thing real quick. You know, I was such a hater when it came to that pep rally, the not one, not two, that pep rally right there. Just talk about the energy of the city, knowing that King James had made his decision, that, you know, he's taking his talents to South Beach. What was the energy like in the 305?
Oh, it was exciting. Everyone was excited. It was like, oh, you couldn't tell them nothing. They're going to win everything. Like, but then the funny thing about that is there was that excitement, but then you go to the games and tip off, no one would be in the stands.
Right,
Like,
right.
It
I
didn't
remember
make
that.
any sense.
Oh.
Or, you know, they would be in the club at the arena versus watching the
Right.
game. Like, it didn't make any sense. I'll never forget when they were on that winning streak where they were like 20-plus games in,
Yeah.
away from breaking the record. And the stands were empty. I was like, what? They have a chance to make history
They're
right
making
here.
history out here.
And no one's here to watch it. And the media wasn't there to cover it.
Right.
But yeah, like, it's just like,
So,
okay.
is it just lax down there, or they trying
Oh, I mean, they have, it's paradise.
to? It
Like,
is.
They're not focused about basketball.
It used to be funny, like you say, you watch the finals in Miami. Hey, the game started yet? There ain't nobody in the stands. By halftime, they get crowded. Everybody done finally made the way in. Probably a little slizzard.
Because, you know, Clay, they pull up on boats on
I
the
know,
backside of the
yeah.
arena. What?
It's a different world.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's a different world.
So, it just, you went to Little Rock as well.
I did. Go Razorbacks.
Just like Compton.
Just like Compton.
Little Rock,
Ever
just
since
like
they put that
Compton.
HBO special, it's been like, yeah. Little
Yeah,
Rock
like, man, throw a gang sign.
How was that still for you?
You know what? Surprisingly, I didn't hate it. Like, they love sports there, so they would give you ample time for your sports cast, and they love talking about the Razorbacks, so I enjoyed it. Like, it was fun. I was there when Ryan Mallett was there. I mean, he didn't really turn out to do much, but it was fun covering them.
He was a big guy, though. He was a big guy.
He had potential.
But what's good about, what I like about a town like Little Rock, the university basically is almost like the pro team. So, yeah, they're going to get that kind of love. Yeah, just throw that shade on Ryan Mallett like that.
Now we're thinking about it like,
you look, no, I had to think about it like, nah, he sucked a little bit.
He did. You would have thought he would have been better than he would. He just couldn't make the transition.
Hey, Bobby Petrino was his coach, right?
yeah,
Oh yeah, I was there when that whole unfolded.
motorcycle.
Motorcycle
Get off
game.
your bike, man. So talk about town. So you've been around. You did Chicago. You did Miami. Which city had the most energy as far as sports fans?
Oh, no doubt, Chicago. They
cold, they gotta
live,
stay
eat, breathe. They're Bears, Bulls, Sox, White Sox, or Cubs, like Blackhawks. I mean, they have it all.
Well, Jordan wasn't there, so you couldn't like bump into Jordan in town. Yeah, come on, Mike. Stay home, Mike.
He had his own franchise, man. So you gotta do this.
I know, but still, man. I mean, listen, he meant so much to the city. You know, D Rose couldn't get it done.
It wasn't him; it was his knees.
Man,
Definitely not his knees.
So what would you say about, because ESPN has this want and need to always say Atlanta fans are terrible fans. What are your thoughts when you hear that about Atlanta sports fans?
Oh, fair weather for good. Like, they are fair weather and they're flaky, and
please speak on it. Keep on.
I don't understand, like, just the playoffs with the Falcons this year. Like, there was no spirit days, there were no pep rallies, there was nothing leading up to those games, and I was like, I didn't understand, why are you not repping your team? Oh, once they get to the NFC, like, championship, why are you waiting till then? Like, they are still in the playoffs. It doesn't make sense. You should support them all the way through the season, and even more in the playoffs.
I'm so glad she said that, because when we come back, I got a question. And yes, Atlanta fan, I'm going to stab at you some more. Yes, I am.
You just fed to the fire.
Yes, you just, oh, man, it's doing a whole nother way now. I love it.
We'll be right back. Wait a minute. We'll be right back.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
One of the most dominant home court. Cross. You can't touch me, you're not man enough. And that's all she wrote. End zone touchdown.
Hey, man, we're back. We're in our question interview right now. Orasi question interview by Aiyana Cristal. So, all right, mate, so go ahead.
So you've lived in multiple cities.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're in Atlanta, have you ever seen a town disrespect the franchise quarterback as much as the people here disrespect Matt Ryan?
No, it's funny because you'll be at the games and he'll throw something that doesn't work out, and fans are like, man, we need someone else, and we're like, he was just MVP last year. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
thank you.
Who else are you going to bring? Like, there's not that many great quarterbacks or elite
Can you give me a high
quarterbacks
five?
in the league
Can you give me a
right
high
now.
five? My gosh. See what I'm saying, everybody? It drives me crazy to hear everybody like, man, we gotta get rid of Matt Ryan. For what? Who do you want?
Who are you going to bring to Atlanta?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I always the one thing I always laugh when they say that, I say, Vic's retired. Stop saying that. You can't get the other five. There's only five better than him, in my opinion. So they ain't going nowhere because they $25 million quarterbacks.
My brother said, give you another high five. He talks exactly.
But so, I'm not trying to jump off, but yeah, you going back, and so when you came to Atlanta, was your thought that you were coming for news? Now you about to go take somewhere. I've seen you doing some sports here, but mainly focus on news. Mm-hmm. How was that transition for you to have it as your first, news reporter job?
Well, at the end of the day, journalism is journalism. Like, at the end of the day, you're still telling a story, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. But it's different. It is completely different. Like, it is a different beast. I mean, your approach on stories is different. Sports is easy. You know exactly what time you're going to get interviews. You don't have to force people to do interviews most of the time.
Right.
You know what time practice is, so that's the video you're going to get. Like news, you have to work. You have to grind it out daily. So it's different.
Because when people in our industry, I don't think they understand truly the process of like how much we have to read. Mm-hmm. How we got to get ahead of it. You got to try to find a source, They leave. Just talk about your process in putting your stories together.
Oh, they think you're on TV for a minute. So what are you doing the rest of the day? Like, what do you mean you're busy? Like, you're on TV for a minute. Like, no, there's a process. You have meetings first thing in the morning. You have editorial meetings. You're meeting with producers, pitching stories every day, deciding on what you're going to cover that day. And then you don't go in knowing what you're going to do.
Right.
Every day it's different. So then you have to start reaching out to people to get interviews. And it's not like everybody's going to be on your time frame because that's just not how the world works. So then you have to work and try to get interviews and make it happen. Then you have to write and log and transcribe the interviews and then put it together. And then, wait, you got to be on camera. So then you got to be live. So it's just a whole process.
Oh, you are busy then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the one thing, so the emotional approach,
Mm-hmm.
because now stories are a little bit more gut-wrenching. You got stories about people dying and people losing loved ones and all of that. How was that for you? I mean, yeah, journalism, but like you said, it's a totally different world.
Oh, it was tough. I remember there were nights where I was like, I don't know if I can do this, because there was day after day where it was homicide, fire, all these negative stories where you just become sort of numb because you're seeing these dead bodies, you're seeing this tragedy, and to try to separate yourself from that was really hard, and it doesn't get easier.
Come I say, covering a win and a loss is one thing. But covering a death is like, hey, some people just lost everything, man, and house fires. I couldn't do it.
It's
man.
hard.
It's too emotional.
And I think kind of stand along with that. People don't realize how busy it is to do your job. And then sometimes, like you were saying earlier, sometimes you might be a one-man team where you have to set up the camera, shoot your shot, and then you got to edit it all up yourself.
I did that for years, and it was tough. I did it in Miami. And think about being on the court with the Heat and setting up the camera to talk in front of it. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Hey.
I was like, man, we're covering the champions. Like, I can't get a cameraman. And imagine, like, doing the interviews with my camera, and they're so tall.
Right.
Man.
Like, wait a minute, hold on one second. Let me
Wait, just hold on. Let me,
back up. Let me run back over here.
let me white balance this real quick. Yeah, it was tough.
Hey, man, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Women of Power Summit, brought to you by Black Enterprise, highlighting the best in Black excellence for over 4 decades. This year's summit will be held in Florida, and we're inviting all of our listeners to come and enjoy the magic. March 7th through the 10th, 4 days in sunny Orlando with over 1,000 energized, influential women, intentional in growth and substance over competition. Undivided is how we'll stand with the Women of Power. It's the summit you can't afford to miss, from the Macy's shopping party to the ultimate girls' night turn-up or the 13th annual Legacy Awards with previous recipients like Alfred Woodard, Henry Greer, Vanessa Williams, Felicia Rashad, Ruby D, to this year's Donna Brazile, Jen Kennedy Overton, Carmen D. Lavalade, and Edith Cooper. It's power on your own terms. Jerry G from Sensation Station's Destiny Talk will be your guide for your ultimate summit experience. Stop right now. Go to ssnatl.com to start your powerful journey. Click the links for more info or go to blackenterprise.com/WPS.
Women are power.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Hey, man, we're back. Oh, man, we're having a great time with Aiyana Cristal. You know, you got to come back because somehow time flew by so fast, you missed the hot seat. I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna
We're gonna let her slide. We're gonna let her slide with that one.
When you come back,
you'll
make sure
we can't prepare you for it. Just gotta go
So
through.
we're gonna let you slide this time.
Yeah, we'll let you slide. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I know you had problems at the school, but what do you think about Georgia State and the new football and the new stadium and all that? Have you had a chance to go yet?
Oh, yeah, I covered it, and I thought, I'm going to be honest, I thought with having only, 6 months to transform it from Turner Field to Georgia State Stadium, I thought it was going to be janky and
I did so far from janky.
But when I walked in, I was like, wow, this is
janky.
amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. They did a great job.
As a person who went to a lot of Braves games, I was like tripping, like, whoa, they really, this works.
And the fact you can do a 40-yard dash in the locker room is pretty spectacular. Pretty spectacular.
Love that locker room.
Now, they hadn't spent money on the visitors' locker room yet.
Oh, no, we got time.
It's not about the visitors.
Right.
It ain't the visitors.
We'll get to you.
You still getting dressed in the bullpen. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
We'll close the door. Are you trying to make y'all comfortable?
You don't need much.
You are the visitors for a reason.
But you know what's crazy? So we went back, so we were covering the game. We was like, man, they playing Tennessee State. Okay, all right, okay, I see what y'all doing. Then they lost. You talking about an upset fan base there.
Oh. So, after they packed it out.
Oh, it was a nice crowd and all that. So I think they have something hot over there in those streets over there at Georgia State. Just to see where it came from. And did you ever think that it would be to the point? Because when you were there, they didn't even have a football
program. Oh, they had no football team.
Yeah, they didn't have a football program. Did you think they would have one? Were there talks around that time that maybe they may have a football program?
No, absolutely not. And so the fact that they have one and what they're doing in the Sun Belt is pretty incredible. Hopefully they'll start winning and doing more.
Right.
But everybody got to start somewhere. So
back-to-back bowl games. I mean, hey, big things popping over there at Georgia State. Don't seem like such a bad idea now, does it?
I wish they had everything they had when I went there. I mean, they bought downtown up. Like, it looks amazing. They have a football team. They have all these great things. So they're doing an amazing job now.
I just walked around Walters when I was there.
I had to take the train. I lived in the Village. It was... I mean, a West Coaster, imagine. I come from Washington. I never left the West Coast prior to my first day of school.
So you do miss water?
Yes.
Yes.
So, Aiyana, we thank you so much for coming on. Tell people where they can see you at, find you at, even though you don't tweet. You don't tweet that much, but where can they give me your social media and where they can see you at?
At Aiyana Cristal.
And you're during you do the what, 4, 5, 6?
Every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah. You don't do it 11, do you? Look at you.
Out of there.
Nope.
Out the door.
Well, we thank you for coming on. We got to take some photos. We about to take a break. When we come back, man, we're going into the rundown. Y'all stay with us.